I'm Becky Varner, the corporate dietitian at Buy for Less. We are so excited to be working with the Oklahoma City County Health Department in providing this video to help you learn how to make healthier food choices and how to read nutrition food labels. We want to include a variety of grains in the diet. Examples would be wheat, oats, rice. Here's an example of a whole grain. This would be brown rice. White rice, of course, is a refined grain. The brown rice is not. It includes all parts of the grain. And one of the things that you can use to help determine if a product is a whole grain or not is this whole grain food stamp. And it actually, if you see this label, you know that the product, it does contain whole grain. That does not mean that the product does not have whole grain if the label's not on the product, because it's not a mandatory label, but it's a great identifier. There are two subgroups of grains. We have whole grains and we have refined grains. The whole grains would be those grains that contain all of the grain kernel, the germ, the bran, and the endosperm. The refined grains have been processed, they've been milled, and that removes the bran and the germ. Let's see, here's an example of a whole grain pasta. And here is the whole grain food stamp that we have looked at. One of the things that I want to mention, the whole grain pastas are available in a wide variety of pastas. This is the linguine, there's the spaghetti, multiple other shapes that can be used in a wide variety of different recipes. We want at least half of our grains to be whole grains. Here's another example. These are little waffles. And when you look on the package, here is that stamp, that whole grain food stamp that we talk about. One more way to be able to get, these are 13 grams of whole grain per serving. Another way to get a whole grain. People who have celiac disease need to avoid gluten, and we have a wide variety of gluten-free products. Here's an example of one. This is a gluten-free baked with the whole grain brown rice, which does not contain gluten, and this is a great pancake product. This is an example of a whole grain oats. One of the most common ways, of course, that oats are fixed or as a bowl of oatmeal makes a great breakfast, and this is the 100% whole grain. It tells you that right here. If you look at the ingredients, whole grain rolled oats, and that's all that's in this product. So it's a great opportunity to be able to get a whole grain, lots of versatility in how it can be used, and oatmeal's good for you. Another way to help make half of your grains whole grains is to choose different whole grain breads. This particular one is the sandwich thins, and you can see right here is the whole grain stamp that we want to look for, that's so helpful in identifying some of these whole grain products. Remember that when you're looking at breads, a bread can be a multi-grain bread. That doesn't mean that it's whole grain. It can be multiple refined grains. So you want to watch for this 100% whole wheat on the different products that you're looking at. Now, we've got another whole grain hamburger bun. Make a healthier hamburger by using a whole grain bun. This shows you right here, 100% whole wheat. And then when you look at the back, here's that whole grain food stamp label that we look for. Another way to get a whole grain in your diet is to choose the 100% whole grain breads when you're making sandwiches. Here's an example, 100% whole grain. Turn the package over, and here is the whole grain stamp that we look for. To use this for sandwiches, toast in the morning, those are a couple of ways to be able to increase the whole grain that you're eating. Another way to be able to work whole grain into your diet is in healthy whole grain snacks. Here's an example of a graham cracker. You see right here, 8 grams of whole grain, and then you look over here and there is that whole grain stamp that we look for. One of the things that we always want to watch for as well when we're looking at products that contain whole grain are other ingredients in the product that you might want to be aware of. Some may be higher in sodium or higher in sugar than you would want to use, so you want to read labels to be sure of that. Let's look at another whole grain cracker. This is a great cracker. 10 grams of whole grain, the little toasted pitas, and once again, you turn it around and here you have that whole grain label that indicates that you've got more than 8 grams of whole grain per serving.